Today we are going to talk to you about Enorossi's new rake, which is going to be called a Maximus, which is going to be their new ground-driven wheel rake. This rake is going to be a 12 or a 14 wheel setup. The same rake does both different setups depending on how you want it yourself. It is just a bolt-on option to turn a 12 into a 14 or to turn a 14 back into a 12. You just take some pieces off of it. This is a true folding hydraulic V-rake. You can run it with one side up in the storage position, or you can run it with one side down, or vice versa, the other side down, this side up, or you can run it with both sides down. This rake, when you start looking at it compared to a lot of the carded rakes that you see running around now, they tend to have these raking wheels on the back side of the main frame of your raking frame. That way the rake going through the field is essentially pulling the wheels and leaves you all of that framework on the inside where your hay is trying to go through the rake to try to get out to put it in a windrow. What this Maximus does is it actually reaches around over the top of the raking wheels, and essentially you are now pushing the wheels instead of pulling them. And then it leaves this whole open area here where I'm standing for your hay to go through without any encumbrances there, that the hay can go right on through there and not drag, not catch up, not hang up on the rake, where it can on some of the other carded rakes that we sell. That does typically take pretty heavy hay to make that happen, but there are customers that will get into some 5, 6, 7 ton of the acre hay, and you need this big wide open platform. Another spot that you'll really see that is on some oat hay or some straw that tends to be a little bit more poofier than what alfalfa would be. That is where the other rakes, it'll really ball up in here, where this rake is just wide open for everything to go right on through it. This rake is hydraulic up, hydraulic down. Where you actually stop it from letting one side down or letting the other side down, they've got little lockout valves on the actual lift cylinders. So if you want this side up, you raise it up, pull the valve, open the valve on the other side, and you can let the other side down, or you can open both valves, let both sides down. This rake is also hydraulically expanded. So both arms on this rake, both sides, you can actually widen the main throat of the rake, all hydraulically to kick it out. And then it has mechanical turnbuckles right back here on the back side that actually are what you're going to use to fine adjust to get your windrow width in the back wherever you want it to be. This rake is all set up on, every wheel is independent from each other, so you can set individual ground pressure on every wheel that this rake has on it. So you can go around, there's a little wrench that comes with the rake, and if you want a lot more ground pressure on them, you can change all that. If you're in really uneven ground, this is where this is going to come in. So if your tractor's constantly going up and over little dips and divvies, you'll have it, this will actually raise and lower and follow the contour of the ground. If you're in real flat ground, that's not going to get a whole lot, be a whole lot of use to you, other than it'll keep it from bending the raking wheels up whenever you do hit a little gopher hole or whatever comes into there. This rake is one of the few carded rakes that will come with a true tandem walking axle on it. In our country, this is something that is almost a necessity. We run across these corrugates, and those corrugates with a single axle, your tires tend to fall into those corrugated tracks every time you're going across it. With that walking beam on it, it will have a lot more tendency to float across it, because one tire will always be on high ground and it won't be just dropping it in there. The other deal with that is, like on 30-inch center corrugates like what we got out here, the corrugate can't land on both tires at the same time. So if you're going down with just a regular 2-tired rake and you're pulling in and one drops into the corrugate, now all of a sudden you put a bunch of tension on your wheels, where this will actually, one of them will always be up on high ground, keeping and maintaining your height that you have previously set for the rake. This is all adjustable for your tractor, for the height of the drawbar on your tractor, and also you can adjust for the height of your field when you set it down on how much main ground pressure you put on the beams, as well as how much ground pressure you put on each individual wheel. This is a really nice rake from Enorossi. This is what we were talking about that bolt-on extension in the front. There's one up here, and then there's one right here by us. But this front wheel will literally just unbolt from there off both sides, and this rake turns into a 12 wheel. If you want it to be a 14, you literally just bolt it right back on and you have a 14. This rake is also capable of having kicker wheels in the middle if you cut with a disc mower or with a sickle bar and you've got loose hay running down the middle. This is capable of putting kicker wheels up here on the tongue, and it's also capable of putting kicker wheels back here on the back to make sure that all the hay that you go through will get raked one direction or the other and then put in the windrow instead of just leaving the stuff in the middle. Very nice rake from Enorossi. We're going to run it here a little bit so you can actually see it going down through the field, but very nice rake, and we'll show you how it works.
make sure to subscribe